Good afternoon. 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 Hello, and welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles, and we are back. And notice I am definitely not happy. We are back. We typically do not simulcast on any other day except Monday, but this is, I feel like, a very important thing that we need to talk about. I'm not going to be up here long. On Fridays, these are the books that we normally read. We read about finances, personal finance, and we read about nutrition, getting ourselves healthy and wealthy as possible in an ethical way, in a sustainable way, in a responsible way, and getting our bodies together in by that same regard. However, we interrupt our regular announcements to talk about the fact that two Black journalists have been arrested, taken into federal custody for their journalistic right and their amendment right to record and to report on what's happening in people's communities, mainly Minneapolis. Georgia Fort, I've been following her for some years. She's an independent journalist out of Minneapolis. She has been doing the work for years. Don Lemon, most people know him. He's on the a national was on the national level for journalism. Recently, I believe, probably about a year ago now, became an independent journalist. This is not normal. That's why I'm interrupting my regular broadcast to tell you this is not normal. First, they came for the comedian, Jimmy Kimmel. There was pressure put on his organization to pull him off air because they did not like what he said. People spoke up, people rallied around, people said, hey, this isn't right. He's back on air. Now we have two journalists, Black journalists, that have been arrested. They were not protesting. They were reporting on a protest. They did not organize the protest. They were reporting on the protest. And they have been arrested. Now, they couldn't get away with charging them using the FACE Act because nothing that they did applied to that. But they still came and arrested them. And we're going to see, we'll keep an eye on what kind of charges they're going to try to drum up to justify arresting two Black journalists. Why am I talking about this? Because people need to wake up. Wake up and stop sleeping. It might not be you today, but it very well could be you tomorrow. It might not be you today. It very well could be you tomorrow. Our government has been on some fascist stuff. It's been on it. However, the fact that it is increasing should concern you. It should. I went and I checked some journalism organizations, journalism pages, and most of those pages haven't reported on anything new since October 2025 or November 2025. It's January 2025, and 2 Black journalists have been arrested. And I still don't see them making any announcements on their pages. What does that tell me? In some ways, it tells me we're on our own as a people. Because if you're relying on legacy media, sometimes they get it right and sometimes they get it wrong. Some of them have been bought by the regime, so you can't really trust a lot of what they put out or their perspective on what's being put out because they have been bought. So, what does that mean for us? It means that you become a citizen journalist. You become a citizen observer. And of course, you're doing that in the ways that make sense for your family, make sense for your life, make sense for your safety. But Black people have already told you what it was. Black people have already told you why they're sitting out. There were other journalists there, by the way. There were other journalists there reporting on the same church protest. Those journalists were not arrested. Only the 2 Black ones were. So I want you to think about that. If you have a platform, you should at some point be using it to speak out against what is happening. People always look back on historical moments and they say, why didn't somebody say something? Why did they wait so long? Most people are familiar with what happened with the Holocaust, but most people don't realize that there were journalists that were reporting on what was happening first. They were putting it out there. Hey, these people are over here unaliving people in mass. Can somebody look into it? And people ignored them at first. They didn't really want to believe what was happening and what was going on. But there were people reporting on it. There were people warning. There were people trying to get messages out to other countries that this is what is happening. But it would be years before they would actually go in and see exactly how much damage had been done. So when you have people sounding the alarm and you don't believe them, or when you have people sounding the alarm and you say, well, their platform is not big enough for me to believe them. This is how we get to the point of people coming in years later and seeing the damage and the carnage that is done when an atrocity takes place. We are in the beginning stages of an atrocity taking place. We still have people thinking that is just business as usual. That is until someone knocks on their door and disappears their family member or them. And then everybody wants to be, oh my gosh, we're in a crisis. No, we've been in a crisis. Black people have been telling you what time of day this country is on. And some of you all still don't get it. You still don't get it. With Don Lemon, they waited until he was hosting at the Grammys to come arrest him. They could have arrested him before that. They know where Don Lemon is. It's not hard to find him. But they wanted to embarrass him. They wanted to make sure that they did it at a prestigious event. It's been days, but they waited until that moment to perform the arrest. Georgia Fort, you can find it on her page. They came for her this morning. You can hear her children in the background, likely because she was maybe getting ready to take them to school or something of that nature. But you can hear her children in the background crying because they realize that their mother is about to be taken from them for journalistic reporting in America. Don't come telling me about Gaza. Don't come telling me about Iran. Don't come telling me about these other places when you have federal agents kidnapping, because that's what it is, kidnapping Black American journalists. That's what happened between last night and this morning. And you don't really hear an uproar. You know why? Because of the word Black. And Black America is going to keep calling people out on this. Jimmy Kimmel gets taken off the air. Oh, it's an uproar. Everybody wants to speak out. Black journalists get kidnapped from their assignments in their homes. And I'm looking all over social media to figure out where are the major voices talking about this. Exactly. So I'm obviously going to talk about it, but I know there are some other platforms. The Washington Informer, about an hour ago, just reported on it. I'm waiting to see. I'm looking to see if the Black Star Network, I think that's Roland Martin, if he's going to do some reporting on it. Okay. But where are the other major voices? Because if you can't report on what is happening, if you reporting on what is happening is seen as going against the regime, we are in trouble. Exactly. The same voices who got upset about Jimmy Kimmel are silent right now. Where is Governor Tim Walz? Your citizen of Minnesota, Georgia Fort, has been kidnapped by the federal regime. Because again, I don't consider it an arrest. You arrest people for breaking the law. She didn't break the law. She was reporting on a protest, and she has been kidnapped by the federal government. Where is Governor Tim Walz? What is his response to this? These people hate that their places of worship get exposed because they don't want their two personalities being unified into one character. Yeah. And they tried to use the FACE Act. And here's the irony. You're trying to use an act that was created because the Klan was attacking Black people. You're trying to use these acts against Black journalists who haven't done anything that the act suggests it to be used for. They didn't threaten anybody. They didn't break property. They were not the protesters. They were reporting on the protest. So now we got a problem with the Second Amendment being disregarded. And we have a problem with the First Amendment being disregarded. And they're also trying to disregard the Fourth Amendment, all in the month of January. I mean, that's an impressive record. That's an impressive record that we're not even at February yet, and they're already on some violations of the First, the Second, and the Fourth Amendment when it comes to what's happening, especially in Minnesota. Then let's not forget the tampering with voter records in Georgia. Let's not forget that they just literally raided an office, an elections office, to confiscate 700 boxes of voter information and votes from the 2020 election. None, let me remind y'all, because again, people are going about their day like nothing is wrong. None of this is normal. None of this says democracy. So yes, we have to speak up. Because if we don't speak up now, who's going to be left to speak? And the people that are hooraying and cheering this on, don't worry. They just haven't gotten to you yet. Because this is about all of our rights being violated, not just the people who don't look like us. I just want us to understand that. Free Don Lemon, free Georgia Fort. Hashtag that today. Tag Governor Tim Walz and ask him what is he doing to make sure that the citizen of Minnesota, Georgia Fort, is released. He should be coming out with a statement pronto, because this is unacceptable. Why are we arresting journalists for doing their job? What are we doing? What are we doing? That is what I have for you today. Pastor Ben, if you are on YouTube, I'm going to open it up for us to have some more discussion. If you are on Facebook, you can meet me over on my YouTube page, Life Nation KC, if you want to continue in this conversation with us, because I'm ticked off this morning. I'm ticked off. I've had 2 dreams about what this regime is doing. I had one last night and I had one the night before that. The one I had last night had to do with the Second Amendment and people being arrested. And I wake up this morning to 2 Black journalists being kidnapped by the federal government. So I'm not in a good mood right now. Because I'm having nightmares, and then I wake up and I hear this. This is not good. This is not good. And so please make people aware of what has happened. Share the news, share the broadcast. Georgia Fort's video is up still on her Facebook page, showing the moment when she was turning herself in to the federal government. She has spoken with her attorney that we do know. Don Lemon is in contact with his attorney. But share this news and make people aware that the freedom of press in America is no longer the freedom of press. When you start arresting journalists for reporting, you can no longer claim that we have freedom of the press here in America. Okay? All right. Thank you all for your time and attention on Facebook. We'll be back hopefully on Monday. Take care, be well, and most importantly, be light against evil. All right. Pastor Ben, are you with us this morning? I think I see you this afternoon. Let me bring you on. All right, it's giving me an issue. Hold on. All right. So it is blocking me from chatting with you, Pastor Ben. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to give a moment and try it one more time. All right. It should have gone through that time. It should have gone through, so I have sent it to you. While we're waiting, there's a Q&A for you to participate in. What do you do to relax after a long day? After a long day in America, what do you do to relax? I'll give you a moment to answer that if you choose to. All right, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm not doing so well. This news was just, like I said, I had a really bad dream last night about this government and regime and arresting people around their Second Amendment rights. And then as soon as I woke up, got dressed, opened up my phone camera, I see the news about two black journalists being kidnapped, and I'm just like, here we go. I can tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that I've ever had dreams about a specific government regime. Like, I didn't like everything that Obama was doing, but I didn't have nightmares about it. I didn't particularly like
Mm-hmm.
some of the things Joe Biden did in his term, but I wasn't having nightmares about it. I've had two back to back nightmares about this government, this regime. That's not good. I don't dream. I need people to understand that. I do not dream. And when I do dream and I remember it, the thing I've dreamed about comes to pass. So I am not happy about having two back to back dreams about this nightmare of a government. And
Mm-hmm.
then to literally come wake up out of a nightmare and then read a nightmare is not reassuring to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not reassuring. And I
Yeah.
need people to understand that in this moment, when black people say, you all don't speak up when it comes to when things happen to black people, this is what we're talking about. Two black journalists have been kidnapped. One who is well known in Minnesota and one who is well known internationally
Internationally.
because of his work on a major network in the past. And I don't hear enough people talking about the fact that this is outrageous and unconstitutional and should not be happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to go search for reports on it when this should be everywhere, because again, if they're in danger, all of y'all are in danger. If you're a journalist, if you're a news reporter,
And have integrity.
this has been this has been done to send a message to independent journalists. That's why it's been done. It's been done to send a message to your average citizen journalist, your average conscientious reporter, that if you do something that we don't like, we can send someone to pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I've stopped sometimes and turned my camera on and started reporting on something that's happening in my community. Now I'm not going to stop doing that, but I do know that the message here is, if you think that you're a journalist and you are not a part of the media that we approve, we can find some kind of context or pretext to come and collect you. That's the message that this was. That was the message that was sent.
Hmm.
Tell me your thoughts on this.
Well, I have quite a few. But I spoke on this right after that church incident. And I said that they're coming for your first, second, and fourth amendments.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Um, Even a judge, because they tried to go through the legal system to get a warrant for him. Judge say, no, I don't see any violations.
Mm-hmm.
Now here we are, as you said, two black independent journalists have been arrested
Mm-hmm.
for using their constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really say much. All they did was record for
Mm-hmm.
the most part.
Don Lemon actually interviewed the pastor, and he interviewed
Hmm.
some of the members of the congregation. So again, it is very obvious and very clear that he was not there to protest them. He was reporting on what happened, what was the people's response, why were they there protesting in the first place, and then he interviewed the people who were being protested against. So he
Hmm.
wasn't so he wasn't taking sides either. He was saying these people are here because this is the information they found out. Give us your perspective.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like even if you look at the evidence, you can tell he was not there he was not there protesting. But yet here we
Hmm.
are. As I said, we are not living right now in a democracy. We are living in a regime. And I'm going to keep calling it the regime because it's long been past time that the word government, we can't associate the word government with what we see right now. This is not government, this is a regime.
Hmm. And you said something also about uh, Obama. I saw a thing yesterday, and then I saw another one this morning about how many immigrants Obama deported.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not even comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to dirt. How? Obama went by the Constitution. He didn't break any laws. He didn't send ICE into communities, grabbing people off the street and unaliving people. He went strictly by the Constitution and by the laws. But here's the flip side of that.
And he gave due process.
Right, right, due process. Here's the flip side of that. Now, didn't they say that Obama let all these immigrants in here and let them take over? Well, either he deported more than Trump did, or he let them all in here and just let them run wild. Make up your mind. Not only that, as I said, he did everything by the system that was in place. Bottom line, he didn't go outside of that system. We're not seeing that right now. Judges have stepped up and said, you got to stop this. This is against the law. What does he do? Forget you. This is what I want to do. I'm the president. I'm going to do what I want to do. Now, I also want to go to the protest in the church,
Mm-hmm.
because we all know that the right are all Christian. We all know that. Didn't Jesus flip over tables in protest? I wonder what they would do with him right about now.
The
I
same
mean,
thing
if
they
you
did
got a
in the
reporter,
past. The same thing they
yeah,
did
if you got
before
a
the
reporter,
past.
what's that?
They would do the same thing they did in the past, which is crucify him.
Yeah, immediately, immediately they will crucify him just because he's flipping over tables at the temple in protest of what they were doing to the people, ripping them off. That was a protest. He didn't just go over and decide to do it. He did it in response of what was going on, which was his way of protesting.
I hope I hope that out of this, 1,000 more people, at least today, decide to become citizen journalists. I hope that out of this, more people will decide to step up and begin documenting what they see.
Yeah.
Because, again, this is insane.
hmm
Absolutely insane.
But they don't get it. It's not happening to them, so they don't care. All these centuries, we've been crying about them uh, murdering or unaliving black people in the streets. Oh, y'all just talking it. That's not a problem. Y'all, you're exaggerating. You must have done something wrong. Now here we are, got a white woman on a live.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving a car at a slow pace, turning the wheel away from an officer, point blank range in the face. Then here we are. We got a white man on a live for helping a woman up off the ground that they had pushed to the ground. That's the bottom line. That's why he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was murdered. Because he was defying them and helping somebody that they were trying to harm. He was picking her up, and that's all he did, other than recording them. He was picking her up
Mm-hmm.
off the ground, asking her if she was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the other part of this. They're the gun advocates. That two-way party.
Child.
But here's right. But here's the guy that's actually operating and using his Second Amendment, just part of it, because he didn't use the full thing. He never drew his firearm.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even know he had it until they tackled him and was beating him up. And one of the agents actually took it from his holster. That's on video.
Mm-hmm.
But they want you to think that he walked up to him with his guns on. When they actually approached him, he didn't approach them.
Oh, now she has come out. By the way, Noam has come out to say maybe she was wrong. I'm like,
No, you
maybe
were.
she was wrong in her assessment, ma'am. You was entirely wrong. And then she
Mm-hmm.
said, I was only sharing the reports that I got from the officers on the ground. I'm like, okay, so now you passing the blame. You didn't wait to verify. And then after you saw the videos, because here's the thing, Georgia Fort, who has been arrested by the way, Georgia Fort was on the scene when that happened with Pretty. She was one of the first people to report on it when it happened. So people think, oh, they arrested her because of the church protest. No, they didn't. They arrested her because she was one of the first people on the scene when Pretty was unalived. I saw her footage live when she reported on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, people immediately started uploading their videos to social media when the unaliving happened. So the people who filmed it, they hurried up and uploaded their video before the story could be fixed, before the story could change, before they could alter videos, before they could come out with a report saying, "Oh, he was coming at them with a weapon." Their story
Mm-hmm.
didn't stick, guys. Their story didn't stick because of citizen journalists. That's why their
That's why they
story
hate
didn't
it.
stick. That's why they couldn't sell the narrative soon enough. That is how important citizen journalism is, because it stops them from fixing a narrative and getting people to buy into a narrative, because they know once that narrative is out there, it's hard for people to pull back from it. And citizen journalists help them, or helped us rather, to see the truth before the truth could be skewed and adjusted. Now they're having to
Mm-hmm.
backtrack. And because the citizen journalists put their footage out there first, it is making it very hard for people to believe anything that the regime is saying. Now people can see clearly that you're now trying to, in retrospect, put videos out to paint this person negatively so you can justify why he was unalived. That is the power of citizen journalism. Citizen journalism cuts to the truth and cuts to the chase and keeps the smoke screen from coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Georgia Fort was arrested. They want her footage. Let's be clear. They want her footage. They want her testimony. They want to know what she saw and when she saw it. People think this is about the church protest. Oh, it's not. For her, it's about the fact that she was on the scene when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they detained the woman who had the pink coat on, who was filming up close. She managed to get her footage out before they took her into custody at the Whipple building. They want to know what you saw, because they're trying to wrap it up. They're trying to wrap this thing up. I don't know if people recall, with Ferguson, when Mike Brown was unalived. Many of the Ferguson activists who were on the scene, some of them were murdered shortly after Mike Brown was unalived. One of them was found unalived in a car that was set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
This is the history. I just want to say, this is the history of journalism in America. We know what happened to Andrew Goodman and the whole film Mississippi Burning, what that was based on, when the civil rights workers were down there trying to get people civically engaged and involved in voting, and then they disappeared. And then they had
Mm-hmm.
to send the FBI down there. That now that was an FBI that actually worked for the people.
Right.
We don't have that right now. But they were disappearing people. And so when people say, "I can't believe this is happening," why can't you? This is American history. We are living it. We're smack dab in the midst of American history right now.
Mm-hmm.
I put up a statistic today. I'm going to read it really quickly. Um, and one of my videos I did earlier this morning about what has happened, Facebook still hasn't allowed that video to broadcast. I've been watching this spool for 3.5 hours. They won't allow it yet. They still holding it in queue. Let me read you this statistic. As of mid-December 2025, according to the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker, just the United States, 32 instances of journalists being detained or charged since January 2025, with 28 occurring at immigration related protests. Most incidents involve temporary detainment rather than long term imprisonment, often during coverage of protests. Second Amendment, First Amendment, Fourth Amendment. 32 journalists since as of mid December. That's not even counting January. 32 journalists. Now we can say 34. That's not the First Amendment. That's not freedom of the press. Withholding journalists' ability to report on what is happening in real time is not freedom of the press.
They should. Listen, I don't get it. I really don't. But again, we cry out. We warn people. But I guess because of the color of our skin, they say, well, y'all don't know nothing. And then when it happens, well, where are the black people? We sitting over here drinking our sweet tea, our orange juice, our red Kool-Aid, and we saying, we told y'all, y'all didn't want to listen. See, we're letting y'all deal with y'all stuff that y'all created. We're doing our part for us, but y'all voted for the mess because you were warned. That black lady Harris, she even warned y'all. But y'all say, oh, I'm going to vote for what she warned us against.
And again,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
again,
And now you want us to come, you want us to put our bodies on the line
and again,
because you insisted you wanted what you're getting,
and again.
but you didn't think it was going to happen to you?
Here's the thing. And again, out of the journalists that were reporting, the only two that have been arrested were the black ones. This is why black people keep
Mm-hmm.
saying they're going to be staying home.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can bet out of all the people protesting, they're going to arrest us first. Now, that is their professional work, is journalism. So we know they're going to go out there because that's their work. Citizen journalists, we got to be ready. So when we go out there, we have to go out there with the mindset that I could be arrested or I could be unalived. Do I have my
Mm-hmm.
stuff together or I could be seriously injured? Because some of these people have been shot in the eye with rubber pellets and all this other stuff. People have been seriously medically harmed through the chemicals that have been sprayed into their eyes and all this other stuff. Do you have your affairs in order? If you're going to go out there, make sure your affairs are in order. Because again, we are not in the United States of America as a government right now. We are under a regime
Mm-hmm.
that is literally sliding us into a dictatorship while people are putting up laugh emojis and they think it's funny because it's happening to black people right now. But when everybody's rights gets restricted because they started with us, is it still going to be funny? Ask yourself if it's still going to be funny. When your rights are taken away because they started with black people. So it
Mm-hmm.
was okay when it was happening to black people. But when your rights get taken away, is it still going to be funny? Just ask yourself that question. Is it still going to be funny? When someone comes knocking on your door and say, "Hey, we don't like what you put on Facebook. You better watch yourself." Is it still gonna be funny then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and while we're here, we're just gonna go inside your house and see if you got any firearms. And if you got any firearms, we're gonna take those. Is it still gonna be funny then? Ha ha hee hee.
Right.
Because that's where we're going. First they show up,
Mm-hmm.
then they enter without a warrant, then they're taking your firearms. Is it still gonna be funny then?
Which is illegal.
But they're already doing illegal stuff. That's the point I'm making.
Let me tell you all.
They're already doing illegal stuff.
By law. By law. If they enter your home without a warrant, unless you invite them in, they are criminals coming in to do you harm. What are we allowed to do if someone's breaking in our home to do us harm? It's perfectly legal. I'm going to stop right there. It's perfectly legal under those circumstances. And believe me, I know the law. I have to. I have to teach stuff like that. So I know that. But make sure that there are cameras on your entryways. So when stuff like that happens and you exercise protecting your domain, it's caught on camera. Even though that they're trying to make it to where that doesn't matter, because we're seeing what's happening in real time, caught on camera,
Mm-hmm.
and they insist for us to believe the lie rather than believe the eye. See, so, but yeah, that is perfectly legal. But be able to prove it that that was the situation and that's what happened. I'm stopping that right there. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna stop it right there. So, uh, but what we're dealing with now, it didn't have to be.
Absolutely not.
Did not have to be.
And like I've continued to say, I don't necessarily like everything that the Democrats have done or are doing. But the Democrats can actually be talked to and reasoned with.
Mm-hmm.
These people cannot be reasoned with.
Mm-mm.
They are bent on creating an environment of hellaciousness for the citizens, white included.
Mm-hmm.
White included.
Mm-hmm.
And some white folks are waking up to that. Many millions more have to wake up. But these people are primarily in it for themselves. They always have been. It's just becoming very, very, very obvious to a lot more people. They've always been in it for themselves. What they can make, what they can steal, what they can embezzle, what they can sell off. Um, I was laughing to myself the other week. I said, I have not seen a more ghetto. I have not seen a more ghetto group of people. I've said to myself, these people have out ghettoed the ghetto when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
how they are running our government. Ghetto. Now
In capital letters.
I am from the hood and I have seen some ghetto things. But this government out ghettos the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. When you look at how they have torn up the White House, literally ghetto. When you look at how they have decorated the White House, ghetto. When you look at how they have spray painted the White House with fake gold, that's what you call out ghettoing the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's just a couple of examples. This travesty of a documentary that they have gotten Amazon to pay for $75 million, and it's crashing everywhere because it is apparently horrible. That's ghetto. Extortioning people to buy from you. Ghetto. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. That's just a few. That's just a few. But I said to myself, this is the most ghettoist of the ghetto that I have seen in a long time. And like I said, I'm from Miami. I'm from the 305. I have seen ghetto. And this administration out ghettos the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Charging people hundreds of thousands of dollars for some itty bitty pieces of food on a plate. Talking about you fundraising? Ghetto.
Oh, but what about this one? What about this one? He's collecting money from people so he can make it to heaven.
Ghetto.
Yeah. Oh, look at bro, man. Look at bro, man. I got this here right here. It's gonna work real good for you.
Listen. The recent one, okay? The recent hustle. We're gonna give you $1,000 per child only in certain states with a certain income bracket. If you put up 5,000 for that same child, so you
Mm-hmm.
put in 5,000, we only gonna put in 1,000. Ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Because who does that? Who offers me less than what I'm putting in to get me to invest? This is not a matching fund. You only putting in $1,000. You want me to put in five. That is called ghetto hustler. Okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that people keep falling for these ghetto isms and ghetto hustlings, it's beyond me. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that these people are allowing themselves to be ghettoized and hustled the way that this man and his family and his regime is hustling. Procuring a plane for yourself from a foreign government. Ghetto. Got your son going around hustling other countries to invest in Bitcoin. Ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
They're not beating the allegation, okay, of the most ghetto administration in American history. Bottom line. Hands down, can't touch it. Bottom line. Final thoughts.
I keep saying, wake up,
Mm-hmm.
wake up. Pay attention to what you're actually seeing,
Yep. Pay
not what
attention.
you hear them say.
Pay
And
attention.
that's when you'll realize everything they say is a lie.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those two things there.
If they wanted to give out
They're not
awards,
lying to you.
if they wanted to give out awards, they could easily earn the award for the most lyingest administration. I think they have the
Mm-hmm.
Nixon administration beat on lies. I do.
And
Stay awake.
that's all the way across the board.
final admonition today is stay awake. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues. I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. Hopefully, we'll be able to get back to some regular reading on Monday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We're trying to get there. We'll see. But definitely lift up the families of Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. Hopefully, they will be released soon. We'll keep an eye on that and try to update you hopefully on Monday as to what is going on with those two. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to evil. So go out and be what? Light. Take care, everyone. Be well, and most importantly, be light.